I wanted to bring up, I don't think this is really in our scope of responsibility here as the Planning Commission, but the actual naming itself, I think what we saw in some of the images was Biddle Farms. And we've been talking about it in the planning documents here and in our discussions over years, calling this area the town center. But there's no mention, I didn't see any mention of town center. I didn't know if that's something that gets covered by the BRB. And I don't know if there's any comments from my fellow commissioners regarding whether the town center wordage should be in there. I would think there might be some advantages to both the development and to the town if the town center wording was somewhere in there, because the town center shop Farragut, the town shop Farragut effort may be marketing that area under the term town center, and that might be
confusion.
Might be confusion or helpful. You know.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I'll tell you exactly how that morphed in from the town center. Is some of the marketing people that we have employed came to us and said, "Hey guys, the town center moniker is a little tired." Now, whether I believe it or whether this commission believes it, I'm just saying. I'm just telling you honestly how this changed, and they said, you know, we can show you some areas that are developed similar to this as town centers, but they're not actually called on the signage the town center. So we still wanted to keep Farragut in it. It was decided, hey, what about Biddle Farms at Farragut? And I personally, I like that, but you know, if everybody came and just said, "Hey, Bud, we really need to get the town center back into it," I'm not going to kick and scream too much. But I think there is some merit for moving away from the town center. But again, I'm certainly open to this commission's.
I think if we're trying to be somewhat kind of authentic to what we're creating, and Bud, your architecture's come a long way, and I applaud you. I'm not sure it necessarily needs any elaborate, gaudy entrance with a name, unless you feel like that's critical for marketing. I mean, you guys internally and for promotional material, I mean, you can have a name on it, but I don't necessarily, unless you feel like it's real important to you, I'm not sure you just necessarily need a name of what you're doing here that delineates that you're at, town center or Biddle Farms or, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I think a lot of what you've done, I think the architecture itself is unique and iconic, and we set the bar real high, and you've jumped real high, and we appreciate that. And I think you've really incorporated all these elements that I can speak for myself. I can't speak for the rest of the Planning Commission, but I'm not sure you need to make something a real elaborate entrance with a big name on it. But I'll leave that up to you guys.
Well, let me, since I'm being candid here. Everybody, I think, in this room knows what's happened with construction costs over the last 2 years. So I welcome any way to help get this thing closer to budget. With that being said, I think I can think of one particular development, and Steve could shed some more light. This is over in the Nashville area, but ironically it's called Berry Farms, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but they use through their wayfinding and various other places, and at the entrance. It's a white brick with a hunter green kind of motif, if I recall, Steve. You would know better, but it's Berry Farms, and it's not glaring in your face. But I thought that it gives the area, and in this we came up with Biddle Farms just because the Biddle family had owned it for 100 years or however long. I had seen one other project in Lexington, Kentucky, and it was very similar. And, what I'd probably like to say is we've given Steve Marr direction just today to let him take his stab at another alternative for the iconic element. I would say let's see what he comes up with. Like I say, we don't have to start producing that and building that right now, so we have time if we need to come before the Visual Resources Review Board and back before this commission, and let's see what he comes up with. It may be Commissioner Myers, it may be that in the end, everybody says that's detracting. You've done your buildings, you've got your street, you got your streetscape, you got your landscaping. We may end up there, but I would, at this point, I'd like to see what this gentleman comes up with.